Hey physics, this is Mr. Hausman. We're going to take a look at Lorenz's force. So we have already practiced, maybe too much, maybe too little. Some people may be at different places. Something that we casually call the right-hand rule. What does the right-hand rule really mean? It means there's a force created by two different vectors crossing each other. So what are we crossing? We are crossing, let's add that over here. We're crossing a velocity vector with a magnetic field, a B field. And those are two different vectors. There is a whole field of math that involves vector math to a higher degree, but we just need to know that the velocity of the moving charge is crossing through a magnetic field. And if you've done right-hand rules, you're pretty familiar with those. The math, or the quantitative side, is how do you calculate how strong the magnetic field is? And it's really quite simple. It's the product of the amount of charge. Q is always charge. That's an older symbol we haven't used in a little while. And its unit is the coulomb. Some people tell me it's easy to remember because Q stands for charge, and the unit seems to be the same letter, right? C, but it actually stands for coulombs of charge, right? V is the velocity. I had one student say maybe it's voltage, and that's a great thinking because we've recently studied voltage. But in this case, it's a little v, so it's how fast is the charge moving. So how big is its charge? How fast is it moving? When you multiply those together with the strength of the B, so that's a magnetic field. New-ish, this chapter, magnetic field. And the unit for a magnetic field is named for Nikola Tesla. A Tesla is a unit of magnetism, and most everyday objects have very small magnetism. In the problems below, we're going to be dealing with some kind of large numbers, but that's okay. We could have dealt with small numbers as well. So let's say we've got 2 coulombs of charge, and they're traveling at a small speed of 4 meters per second, and they cross through a magnetic field B, right? It's 23 Teslas. And what we're going to get is we're going to get a force, and it's going to point out of the page. It's going to point upward. But how would you figure out how strong is the force? How big is the force? Well, what you would do is organize your thoughts. I see that there's 2 coulombs of charge in the first sentence. I already mentioned that it's moving 4 meters per second, as indicated. And then there's 23 Teslas of magnetic field. That's actually huge. It's tremendously large. And the formula is FB, the magnetic field's force, is equal to Q times V times B. We always write the formula there. If you've gotten this far into the physics year, you know that very rarely do we worry about putting the answer in the boxes. We're more interested in how we got there. So let's zoom in on this, okay? So what's the charge? 2 coulombs. What's the velocity? 4 meters per second. I bet you can do that in your head. 2 times 4 is 8. Then we have to multiply by 23 Teslas. And surprisingly, or maybe not surprisingly, we get an answer of newtons. But what's the final answer? 8 times 23 is 184. I did that on my calculator as a little side quest, pulled out my calculator and found the strength of the force is pretty big. So 2 coulombs of charge moving pretty slowly, 4 meters per second, through a gigantic magnetic field, they're going to feel a pretty significant force of 184 newtons. Let's do the next one. I'm going to make my pen tip a little smaller. There we go. What if it's 3 coulombs of charge traveling at 12 meters per second, and the field is 45 Teslas? You're like, oh, Hausman, it's the same. Q times V times B equals the magnetic force. We would do 3 times 12 times 45. And again, some people like to do mental math, and it's okay to calculate that out. When I do that, I go to my calculator, I go 3 times 12 is 36. 36. Then I multiply it by 45, and we get a much larger force. The magnetic force is 1,620 newtons. Okay, are they all this easy? Is it that easy as plugging it in? Well, what if I give you a new curveball? What if I throw you a pitch that's not so easy to hit. What if I give you the amount of charge, right? The Q is 6 coulombs. What if I give you the velocity is 1.5 meters per second? But what if you find out that the force that it feels is 45,000 newtons? Could you rearrange the formula? Could you use your algebra skills to determine the B? We do not know the B field. Notice I've taken away the box, but that doesn't mean you change your practice. You put in QVB. And in a minute, I'm going to stop and let you kind of try this out, and I'll only provide the answer. So we're going to stop right there. You're going to plug in the force, 45,000. You're going to plug in underneath the Q, the 6, and the V of 1.5, and you're going to find that you're going to need to simplify the right side. I don't know if you can hear music playing in the background, but pretty cool. Mrs. Mott has everyone singing along. 45,000 is our force. There we go. And I get a Q of 5,000 coulombs of charge. That's a very large amount of charge. You have to show the work. How did you get the 5,000? See if you can't do it on your own. For number 4, we let everyone work on this on their own. Notice I've removed the scaffolding, I've removed the supports, but you make your list of given, you write your formula, it's the same formula, figure out what the unknown is, in this case we don't know the charge, and you're going to find out when you make the effort and you do the work that the charge is 6.7 coulombs. I designed that problem well before 6, 7, so have fun with that. So it must be something that I did before I even knew it was a trend. The second page was some videos we watched in class, and it was about Earth's magnetic field protecting us from solar wind. What's solar wind? Well, solar wind is a phenomenon that happens when the surface of the sun erupts, almost like a volcano. And when it erupts, it burps and sends out a large amount of charged particles. There's positives, there's negatives, and they're in the form of what's called a plasma. So a coronal mass ejection or a solar flare from the sun is an explosive form of charged atoms or charged ions. Let's add that in, right? In a phase called a plasma. So our sun burps these large plasma weather balls. They are made of charged atoms and ions, and they go out into space. And sometimes they travel toward Earth. It really depends on where we are in our orbit around the sun and which part of the sun is having a coronal mass ejection. If that happens, if that was to hit us straight on, it would ruin our atmosphere. It would literally, like a giant windstorm, like a giant hurricane, it would blow away our atmosphere. But amazingly, as this ball of plasma comes hurtling at our planet, and it happens in I believe it's 11-year cycles, but as this comes traveling at us, it runs into what are called the Van Allen belts. These are these magnetic fields that wrap the Earth in a cocoon. And what are they really? They're really just B fields. And the magnetic field around the Earth creates a force on the passing charges, and it makes them go around the planet, but it's not a clean process. Some of them get pushed all the way away. Others get pushed in toward the poles. And so they kind of spiral inward. So here come all the charged particles that spiral inward. Those charged particles hit our atmosphere. They run into the oxygen and nitrogen, and they excite the electrons. The electrons inside the atoms feel that extra energy from that plasma, makes them excited. And you probably remember in chemistry that when electrons get excited, they also relax back down to their ground state. They give up their energy. And these energy states cause the famous aurora borealis lights. You know what? We can also just call them the northern lights. And our planet and its magnetic field protects us from that solar wind, but as a byproduct, it makes a very brilliant color in the sky. And notice there's two videos, two different TED Ed videos, Aurora Molina, and then TED Ed Northern Lights. You also can find videos on our homepage that were from NASA that describe Earth's magnetic field, where it comes from, the sun's magnetic field, and basically how we exist, how our planet benefits us and creates this protective barrier from the solar winds or these coronal mass ejections.